Hi, today I want to talk to you about the Kawok Trecena. This is day 13 Tihash. We're right at the end of the rainy season, and here I am in the garden in amongst all this greenness. And it's kind of interesting because we've just finished the rainy season. We had a little bit of surprise rain a couple of days ago. A little bit was maybe an understatement. But really we're coming to the end of that place. Now the reason why I mention the rain is because of Kawok, of course. Because Kawok is a rain, it's a storm. And it's seen as the midwife. And all of this greenness, all of this new life comes because of the rain. And so this is a very, very important thing to grasp when we're going to talk about Kawok. Because Kawok is all about new life. It's all about rebirth. It's all about starting something new, bringing something new to the world. Okay, so on the 1st of November we went into 1 Kamei. We've just literally today we're finishing the Trecena of Kawok. Kamei being death, Kamei being facing fears, Kamei being releasing the things that we were fearing to release sometimes, standing up in front of the things that we fear, getting over them. And it's literally, we see this Kamei followed by Kawok, death followed by rebirth. And so it's kind of like we've gone through this 13-day period where we've been dropping a few things off and finishing a few things up and maybe releasing a few things that didn't suit us anymore, releasing an old body, as it were, so that the new can come about. And this is what we're going into with the Trecena of Kawok. It's a time to bring new stuff into the world, maybe to bring the new you into the world, as it were, about reinventing yourself, rebirthing yourself in some way or other. So the 1 Kawok, the way that I see it, is kind of like it's a gentle thing. Kawok is a compassionate healer. Now it doesn't mean that she's not strong, and it doesn't mean that she won't wash away the things that are in our way. Kawok is here to literally do that as the flood that washes away the obstacles between us and our birth. But she does it with compassion. She does it with a desire for new life to emerge. Kawok is the essence of female healing. It's the essence of compassion. It's the essence of the love of the ancestors, of the elders, to continue the generations forward. So this is a great time to be getting new things going. It's a great time to be advancing on your path in whatever way, shape or form that might be. Advancing on your career path even. You know, this doesn't have to be all in the spiritual realm. This is all about you taking your life forward in one way or another. So we're going to begin on the day of 1 Kawok. So Kawok being the birth process. Kawok being bringing something new into the world, and the 1 being the number of birth. Okay, now sometimes we might see that we want to bring something new in. The 1 can also represent like a seed which needs fertilizer, water in order to grow. And so this might be, you might need some assistance with the birth process, as it were. You've got something new you want to bring into the world. You might need to ask for some help, possibly from a female healer, in order to bring that into being, to help that to move forward. So it's a great day to be doing that, to be looking at what it is you want to bring in over the next 9 months, what it is that you want to birth into this physical realm. Okay, from 1 Kawok, we're going to go into 2 Achpu. So this could be a very sweet day for relationships in particular, because 2 is highlighting relationships, it's highlighting lovers, but it's also highlighting self-sacrifice. And Achpu is divinity. It's the quest for the divine. It's the sun, which is making its presence very well known today. Okay, so when we see 2 Achpu, this is kind of like, could be an illuminating essence within a relationship. Maybe it's highlighting the divine essence of a relationship. Maybe there's some things that you've been overlooking in a relationship where you actually realize that there's a path, maybe a path with somebody else. 2 Achpu could also be recognizing the differences, because the 2 is duality. It can be light and darkness. It can be truth and falsehood. It can be the 2 polarities, the 2 ends of the spectrum. Okay, and Achpu is our search for the divine. And in our search for the divine, sometimes we need to have the discernment as to like what we're going to choose, because 2 can also be about choices. We're going left or we're going right, going up or down. Okay, and so it could be saying, like, in your quest for the divine, maybe there's some need for discernment on what you're going to keep and what you're going to leave behind, which way you're going to follow. Okay, and of course in this Kawok Trecena, this might be about discernment of the correct path of actions in order to follow what's truly divine in the world. From 2 Achpu, we will then go into 3 Imosh. Now, Imosh representing the lake, Imosh representing the great waters of the world, Imosh representing the dreams. And then the number 3 representing the inner world, representing the home. Okay? And so this might be about looking inside of yourself for the dream, looking for the dream to emerge from you. It's a time to go inside. 3s can sometimes represent, they're not always the best days for going out somewhere. They're not always the best days for getting stuff out there, because it's kind of like a internal focus. And so that's where the power, that's where the energy of it really lies. And so if you're trying to get stuff out into the outer world, then you might find it's like, if you're trying to manifest your dreams into the outer world on 3 Imosh, you might find it gets a little bit stifled, because it's all about looking inside to see really what are your dreams, how you're going to create them. It's about your inner connection with the water. It's your inner connection with the collective consciousness. Imosh is our connection to the psychic field of everybody around us. And this would suggest it's more about looking inside of yourself. So 3 Imosh would be a great day for a retreat, a great day to cut yourself off from social networks, cut yourself off from the world, from news, from all of those kind of things that like affect our own psyche. Go and sit by the water and have a look inside yourself as to what dream you're trying to bring out into the world, what dream you're trying to birth into the world. From 3 Imosh, we're going to go into 4 Ik. Well, we've gone from the internal to something which is very much more external, because the Ik is all about communication, it's all about change. And of course, giving birth is bringing something new into the world, which is naturally a state of change anyway. And 4 Ik is the day to announce it. 4 Ik is a great day for physical communications. We have the 4 representing the physical plane, representing the material, and Ik representing the divine breath, representing communication, representing change. So this 4 Ik is a great day for bringing stable changes to the physical world. It's also a great day for stabilizing physical communication. Now, when I say that, the 4 can be very, very down to earth. Okay, so sometimes we might be trying to get our point across, and sometimes our point might be rooted in our spirit or something like that. Well, the number 4 brings us the ability to bring it right down to earth, to make it applicable to everybody, to explain it in everyday terms that everyone can understand. Sometimes the 4 can be a little bit too material. Sometimes it can have trouble kind of getting out of its box. But really, 4 Ik is a great combination. It's a great day to have conversations about how to bring stability to the physical world, how to bring that birth, that whatever it is that you're birthing into being. This is a day to go and talk with people. This is a day to express it into the physical. From 4 Ik, we'll go into 5 Akabal. So Akabal representing the dawn, Akabal representing the new concept which is coming in, Akabal representing this new day, the energy of the new day which is coming. So it's about something new coming into the world. We could see this as maybe one of the big push days during the birth cycle, during the birth process, okay? Because the 5, the one hand that's doing work, this is about putting your energy into it. It's about putting energy into this new concept. You might find that on 5 Akabal, things might not go quite as easily or smoothly as you were expecting. Because on 5 days, 5's kind of like, they don't really drop in your lap. They're asking you to put your energy into it. So once you've set your focus and communicated your goal, the 5 Akabal is saying, right, okay, now we're going to push the sun into the sky. We're going to push this new world into being. We're going to apply our energy in order to make sure that the new concept emerges into the world of light from the world of darkness. From 5 Akhabal, we're then going into 6 Kat. So, Kat, the net. Kat is the gathering of abundance. Kat is the harvest time. Kat is our physical abundance that we have around us. And here we see it with the number 6. So this should be a very fortunate day. Now, Kat does represent the net, and it can represent the burdens that we carry and release from those burdens. But that number 6 is this wonderfully stable number because it combines the physical plane with the heart of the sky and the heart of the earth, the divine masculine and the divine feminine coming together in the physical plane. So it's kind of like more of a divinely inspired idea. It's something which comes kind of like a bit from out of nowhere. So you remember I was saying about the 5 Akhabal being needing to put our effort in to bring something in. Well, the 6 Kat is then kind of like the collection of that process. It's kind of like things coming in from the divine and being manifested into the physical. So 6 Kat is a great day for trading. It's a great day to go through your net, as it were, to go through your physical possessions, your bag, your backpack, whatever it is, whatever you're carrying, and see what brings true stability to you and your family and what you can now let go of, okay? Because the 6 brings that stability. So it's kind of like looking on what you can let go of in order to bring stability, particularly to your family, because 6 also represents family. And it's also kind of like seeing what can be gathered in order to bring stability. You need space in your net in order to gather new abundance in. So it's a great day for a bit of a sort out. From 6 Kat, we will then go into 7 Can. So this is the peak of the Trecena. This can represent death and endings. It could also represent choices and decisions. Can, the Nawal of power. Can, the Nawal of wisdom. Can, the Nawal of illusions as well. And Can, the world of teachers. Okay, so we can see all of these things. Can has this kind of like politician type energy to it, or it can do. And this is one that maybe can cause some illusions. Now, when we're standing on top of the pyramid, when we're able to see everything in front of us, this may be using all of the different types of wisdom that we can gather together, all the different ways that we can see things in order to see over something, in order to see past the illusions of those who might be trying to manipulate us. In particular, we apply it to politicians. Okay, so this is about seeing through those things, but we also have to remember that this is the end. The 7 represents the ending, and this is about wisdom, this is about power. So it may be the end of power of something, the end of power over one person or another, the end of power over a country perhaps. But what we also see is that we're in the Trecena of Kawok, so we come to this peak and we see Can. This is the body lightning, it's a spark of life. Okay, so it's kind of like coming to that final moment where the spark of life emerges. We can also see it as the completion of the wisdom, which is possibly one of the nicest and most positive ways of seeing it, because we're coming to the pinnacle of wisdom. So it's a day on which we finally get to the end of the teaching. It's a great day to sort of finish off a course or something like that. From 7 Can, we then go into 8 Kame. So I said that we've just been through the Trecena of Kame, and we always find that the Trecena begins on the 1 day, and then in the next Trecena we'll get the 8 day, which is like the ceremonial day, the celebration day. 8 Kame. Well, Kame representing death, representing transformation, representing endings again, representing the ability to transform, in particularly spiritually. I call Kame the soul alchemist, right? Because this is us going up a level, going up to something else. And here we have the celebration of it, okay? Because we're celebrating our ancestors. We're celebrating what came through from them, what we pass on to the next generation, how that transformation happens. The 8 represents the 1 and the 7 together, life and death all in one place. So it's the entire cycle of transformation which is celebrated on the day 8 Kame. 8 Kame is sometimes, we use it as a wedding day because it's about calling in our ancestors. It's about the transformation that happens when two Two people become a couple because they come together and they're then marrying all of the ancestors together. So we're celebrating the ancestors on that day because we're calling them in to support the couple as they then take this combination of DNA forwards, as they take these lineage forwards. Okay, so 8 Kame, great day for a wedding, and also a great day to celebrate your ancestors. So once again, going through that cycle. From 8 Kame, we then move into 9 Kech. So 9 Kech, Kech is the wilderness. Kech is the greenness, it's the mountains, it's the trees, it's a connection with the wilderness. It's also our connection, we say, with spiritual leaders. Now, sometimes if you talk to some of the elders here or something like that, they might say, well, we got a question and we had to go and ask the mountain, or we had to go and ask in the wilderness. And they'll receive their answers by connecting with the wilderness, by connecting with the spirit of the altars or the ancestors up there. And so we see Kech also representing spiritual leaders, and the number 9 is representative of life. It's also representative of the divine feminine. So in one way, I see the 9 Kech energy as representing kind of like the high priestess. It's maybe a great day to go and listen to, talk to, or consult a female spiritual leader on how to continue this birthing process which is coming in. Remember, we're still in this Trecena of Kawok. So if you have these sorts of people in your life, if you've stuck, if you don't know how to move forward on what you're wanting to bring into life, then perhaps a woman confidant is the person to consult on that day to help you to bring that in. Now, the other way of doing it, if you don't have people like that in your life, or if you want to go down a different path, is to go out into nature and allow nature to guide you. Allow the animals that you see, the interactions that you have, to help you to understand which way to go from there. From 9 Kech, we then move into 10 Anil. Anil is the ripening. Anil is about bringing things to their maturity. Anil is about the ripening of the corn, the perfect yellowness. And also with us as humans, as people of the corn, we come to our yellowness, we come to our ripening. So, as we go through life, we mature. We're seen as being planted in the darkness. We emerge, we grow, we flower, we fruit, we die, and then we're reborn again. Anil is the ripening process that we all go through. It's a joyful process. It's a process which brings us abundance, because when we can take our corn to the market, that's when we can trade it out for something else. We can trade it out for food for the family. We can trade it out and have a really good time. Okay, so Anil has this joyful kind of thing going on. And it's all about bringing maturity. So it's not just sort of like a joyful party time. There's also an amount of work that goes into it. It's a celebration of where we've got to, about how we've evolved, about what we've grown into. And here we see it with the number 10, which represents the two hands coming together. It's cooperation, it's community, it's a society. So 10 Anil is a great day on which to get together with your community, to help to understand how to bring things to their full abundance, how to bring things to their maturity. So if there is a project, if there is a plan, if there is an idea, if there is something that you are birthing into being that you're getting a little bit stuck with, it's a great day to be going and communicating, to be going and getting in touch with your community in order to get an idea about how to bring that into its maturity. Okay, so from 10 Anil, we're then going into 11 Toch. So 11 Toch is the payment, it's the fire, it's the sacrifice, it's about giving back. We just receive this maturity, this joy and this abundance with Anil. And then in Toch, we take our time to make our ceremony to give something back, to say thank you. Now 11 Toch would suggest it's about looking in many different directions about how we might like to pay off what we might owe to people. We might owe physical, spiritual, emotional debts. We can't help it as we're human. Every drop of water that we drink, every morsel of food that we eat, we're taking, and we don't always give back. Toch gives us a day on which we redress the balance. We make our offering. We say thanks and we settle our debts. 11 Toch would suggest that there are many different ways of looking at that. There's kind of like many different approaches. So it may be a rather busy day for settling all of these debts so that we can move forward freely. From 11 Toch, we then move into 12 Zi. Zi, faith, loyalty, justice. Zi is the law. Zi is the unconditional love. And here we see it with the number 12 attached to it. And the number 12 represents the gathering together of all of life's experiences. So, you know, going through this birthing process might not be the easiest thing. Sometimes it might be painful. Sometimes we need that extra energy to push, or whatever it is, in order to get what it was that we wanted to birth out into the world. And 12Z brings us the faith. It brings us that combination of our knowledge from the past times, of when we've been here before, of what information, what experiences we might have picked up through our life that bring us faith to go forward. Because sometimes Z days will bring us challenges to our faith. They might bring challenges to our loyalty. But when we've been there before, we understand what we can draw on in order to keep going forward, in order not to lose faith. Now, Z can also be a very sensual day. Z represents the dog. And the dogs have very keen senses, and they like feeling good. You know, sometimes they'll smell something that smells good and they'll go off. They won't be able to hear us because they're so intent on that feel-good factor, okay? And Z can incorporate that. It can incorporate the vices of the world. It's the earthly pleasures of the world, okay? So there is a balance between keeping our word, keeping our harmony, and enjoying what it is to be a human being as well. Enjoying those pleasures. And 12Z suggests it's a look about where we've collected these in the past, the experiences that we've gone through, the experiences that we've had. It can also represent that as we go through life, as we go through our processes and that, sometimes we need to draw on our past experiences to really connect with what we could consider to be the unconditional love of the world. The unconditional love that we might hold for others, recognizing that we're all going through our processes, we're all going through our time. We don't have to stop loving people just because they're having a little bit of a hard time right now. In fact, this is exactly the time when we need to have faith in them, faith in ourselves, and show more unconditional love. Okay, so perhaps it's our past experiences that can help us to do that. And then finally, we end up on 13 bats as the end of the Kawok Trecena. 13 bats, bats being the creator, bats being the weaver, bats being the master artisan, the master artist that brings it all together, that brings out the beauty into the world. And here we have it with the number 13. So the number 13 representing the ancestors, the number 13 representing the spirit world. This is the day of the weaving of our ancestral patterns into the world. This is the day where we might receive something from spirit that we can use to beautify the world. And of course, it's the end of the Kawok Trecena. So what we've birthed into the world, this creation that we've birthed into the world, we've done so by weaving it with spirit, by bringing that in as well. Okay, so 13 bats is a great day. If you need to get inspired, if you've got an artistic, creative project or anything like that, 13 bats is the day to maybe go meditate somewhere nice and receive the inspiration that you need to enhance your creativity. Because when you start working with those two essences together, you're going to create true beauty into the world. Okay, so that's been the Kawok Trecena. I hope that you've enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you again in 13 days' time. Thank you.